Every living creature on this earth has a lifespan already pre-programmed in its DNA. That includes humans. We don't know what's going to expect us on that journey that starts the moment we are born and takes us through the dimensions in ever surprising ways. In life, just as in everything else, it's not really the end point that matters. What really matters is the journey, and no matter what happens to you or what you do, there's a meaning and a reason for everything. Sometimes even years after the fact, you will discover meaning in situations that have long passed. All your life experiences accumulated makes you who you are in any given moment. Now, what's it feel like to get older? That's the question I'd like to explore in this video. Good morning, guys. It's George here, Mazatlan, Sinaloa, Mexico. Hey, today I want to talk about what does it feel like to get older. I am 62 years old, and there are things that have changed since I was, say, 25 or whatever. To tell you the truth, for the longest time I never even worried about my age. When somebody used to ask me, "How old are you?" usually my answer would be, let me think about that. What year are we? Because the year changes all the time, and then once you know what year, of course I knew my age, but it wasn't something I was worried about ever. But then one day, this could have been already 5-6 years ago, all of a sudden, without asking for it, I got a senior's coffee at McDonald's. All of a sudden I see I got a senior's discount. Who knew? I wasn't even 60 yet at the time. I guess at some point my facial features changed and I got dramatically older. I don't know when that happened. It seemed like it was never going to happen because I looked the same every day. But then I guess when you go back 5 or 6 years or 10 years or whatever, then you'll see the difference. Now I want to show you something. Have you ever seen a mermaid? And more specifically, have you ever seen a mermaid that was old? I think mermaids are always very, very young. They're looking very young, and look at her shape. And then look at my shape. 62 years old, and I haven't been in a gym for quite some time now because I was too busy doing other stuff, but I'm not giving up on the workouts, guys. Usually, I'm gonna get on the rocks here. Gonna use that beautiful mermaid as my background. Yeah, physically, I don't feel really any difference. There are moments though when, I think to myself, well, I haven't really done a whole lot today. How come I'm tired? And I don't know if that's age related or if that's because I'm just generally very active, and it can happen that I don't perceive it that way at the end of the day. But there have been days when I get home and I have a plan of doing something like editing YouTube videos or something, and it gets me into my chair, and then I decide, before I get my head around doing a YouTube video or doing all this work. YouTube is work, guys. But yeah, then I sit down and I watch some YouTube or I go on Facebook. But usually it turns out, I'm watching somebody else's YouTube video. And then all of a sudden, I wake up half an hour later. It's like, whoa, I didn't realize I was that tired. So I don't know, you tell me, does it happen to you? Are you younger than me? Are you perhaps older? Is this going to get worse as I get older? Who knows? Truth is, I still don't worry very much about my age, but I tell you, the day when I turned 60, it kind of hit me, you know. I mean, 50 something, 50, whatever, 40, 30, all of these numbers to me don't mean very much. People are all kinds of different ages. People are in shape. People are doing what they need to do. And it doesn't matter how old they are. You can do much of anything regardless of age. And of course, this goes on after you turn 60. But in my mind, 60 was always this, it's a psychological barrier. I never saw myself as a 60-year-old. And I didn't really know what a 60-year-old was supposed to feel or look or be like. So guys, am I age appropriate for a 60-year-old? Some of you will point me and say, well, yeah, you're old. And then others will say, well, you're still young. It's all relative, right? So what are the biggest problems with aging that I see? And I gotta say, well, perhaps the physical aspect, because I'm not looking forward to declining strength and declining endurance, because those are all things that I need to enjoy the things that I do. Like riding the bike, like hiking, like traveling, like swimming, going camping, like all of these activities. Well, they require some physical level of fitness, but I really believe that it is possible to maintain that even as you get older and older and older. Well, as far as genes go, I think I might be okay because my parents are both still riding their bicycles. They're both in their mid to high 80s, and so far they're doing really well. I'd love to visit them more because they don't live in Canada near us. They live in Europe, in Germany. What I'm getting at, I know from my family history that it is possible to live well into your 80s and still be quite active. Now, the other good aspect about getting older, of course, we have a good CPP in Canada, Canada Pension Plan. Then we have old age security pension and stuff like that. Well, when all this kicks in, and then we are also getting toward having our house paid off. So then even being self-employed, which is something, by the way, that I can keep up into high age, because it's not like having a job. It's more like having a bunch of customers who are willing to pay you for what you do. And when they call, then you consider what they'd like you to do and you take it or you don't. At this point, most of the time I do, because I'm not financially independent. And even if I was, I'd probably do quite a few jobs still, because I like to practice my skills, actually improve my skills over time. There's still a learning process going on with every job I do, even at 60. I gotta show you something, guys. I just noticed something that is worth interrupting this talk. Look at these guys. There's one big one over there somewhere. I think they're scared. All right. Let's go back up there. Yeah, this is a beautiful area I like to enjoy in the morning. Of course, being 60 also means that my own children are now adults and they have children, my grandchildren. And, well, again, they don't live in Alberta, but I am not directly responsible for somebody's upbringing and for somebody's well-being, except Barbara and I are, in a way, responsible for each other, and we do our best to work together on that. But it's not like we're raising children. So all of the things we do now, it's because we don't have that responsibility that it is this much easier. And perhaps that's one aspect that I've left out of a lot of videos where I am promoting going on adventures, going on long-term travel. And I stand by that. Like, if you have any way of making it possible for yourself at any age, travel is always worth it. You have to explore places other than your own city, your own country, in order to grow. There's no better school than traveling another country. But the way that looks for most people is by booking a stay that lasts a week, 2 weeks, perhaps 3. But it is at resorts, and they basically cut you off from the rest of the country in some way. And well, you could always take a tour, you can always do a little bit of exploring on your own, but the best is actually just to plunge into the local culture, experience the culture shock, learn the language. If there's a language barrier, you can definitely do that at any age. And I recommend you do it before you turn 60, because it seems like by the time you reach this age, there is so much that you have your clutter on your mind that perhaps it is not as easy to retain information. Well, in a way it is, but like when I learn something new, it's easy to pick it up at first, use it once, be immersed in the situation and learn the relevant terminology. But then you ask me about it 3 days later or 2 weeks later or whatever, and chances are I'm gonna have a problem remembering it. Yeah, the other aspects of getting older, I can't really think of much negative stuff to this point. Like I said, I haven't felt any problem physically, knock on wood. I know there are many people who are in worse shape at age 60, so I should consider myself lucky. But it's also a lifestyle thing, guys. I mean, you can maintain good health for a very long time if you don't take drugs, don't smoke, don't drink excessively, all of these things. And keep yourself mentally busy with something. Doesn't have to be YouTube, and you don't have to go to university, but there's always something that'll interest you, perhaps, and dive into it. That's my recommendation for whatever it's worth. There's one aspect of getting older, however, that I'm not too fond of, and that is time seems to pass way faster than it ever has. And it makes sense in a way, because when you first get born, you don't have any time to compare it to. Say you reach the age of 5. When you're starting to understand the concept a little bit. Is that correct? Is that age of 5? Let's make it 10. Whatever it is, you know, by the time you understand the concept of time, you think that 1 year is an eternity. It just seems to never pass. Because all you have in your life to compare it to are those 5 or 10 years. And, well, that's your whole life at that point. Now at age 60-something, well, you have a lot to look back at. And it seems like 1985, guys, this was a year before I sort of moved to Canada. That's now 40 years ago. And when I think back at certain things that, thankfully, I traveled in 1986. I traveled extensively in 1986 in Canada. It took like 3 months out of my year. I had a good time and I have many good memories. So when I look at these memories and I compare what I felt like then and what I feel like now, it's not that much different. It feels like this could have been just yesterday. And now I'm thinking that it's 40 years ago. Now when I think 40 years the other direction, well, I'd have to make it to 102. I don't know how many people actually do that, but chances are at 102, I won't be in the shape I am today. So there will be some kind of decline to look forward to. And I sure hope I could stretch this out as long as possible, because to me, the physical life, it's high on my scale. I know that for some of you, you're not that lucky. Perhaps you had an accident early in life, or you had some kind of disease that incapacitated you in some way. You might even be handicapped. Even in a situation like that, I believe there are still ways to get out of life what you enjoy, but I can't talk from that experience. Except for one thing. I don't know if I ever showed you this. Yeah, that's my femur that was broken when I was 20 years old. I had a motorcycle accident and I broke my femur. I had to get a plate and 14 screws installed there. And it incapacitated me for quite some time. And then I had a battle with osteomyelitis, which is an infection in the bone. So I had my struggles with health and injury, but that was a long, long time ago. The last time I had a problem with this was in 1993, 32 years ago, isn't it? So, yeah, life's good. Don't worry about age. That's my advice. Just don't worry about it. What else did I need to say? So, I think that's where I can leave it. Don't worry about age too much. Just enjoy your life. Do what you can to make every day count. Remember, the journey is real. You won't get the time back that you waste getting drunk, playing video games, doing something that doesn't get you anywhere. And you also won't get the time back that you give to other people for little or nothing in return. And I'm not saying you should always look for a return when you're doing something, but do it out of your good heart. Don't do it because you're forced to or because somebody is pressuring you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon.